through these, and then the lesson today is pretty quick. But that's up here too. So type 1 error is you think ha, but it's actually ho. Or you think type 2, or you think HA, but it's actually HO. So you think I'm going to care if you're tardy. So you hustle to class, and then it turns out I really didn't care. I don't know what the consequence of that is. Like, maybe you had to go to the bathroom and you couldn't because you had to hustle to class, and then you pooped your pants or something. I don't know. It's not like a huge consequence there, but just make sure you have the direction correct. So you think that I'll care, but I don't. And then type 2 will be the opposite. So type 2 is you think HO is true. You got a question or a stretch? You think ho, but it's actually ha. So you think you don't need to study, but then it turns out you really should. And your consequence is like you didn't do very well. Carter, what was your consequence? Don't let that happen. Watch out for that. Alright, we're going to go through. I don't think you really even need to do notes. We're skipping like the notes section in your packet, and we're doing this. It's like 2 examples. I think you'll be fine, and then we're going to do the homework for that section. But if you want to write some notes, put them in like that 2-4. The notes 4 part. We're not going to use those, so you can write whatever you want to use those spots. And I want you to do those 2 questions. I only got them yesterday. Chill. It's kind of the same question, though. It's like a passive-aggressive, like, grade my damn test, you jerk. Kind of with that.
I'm not passive-aggressive. I'm passive-aggressive.
I'll give it. I mean, you should know that you got. You saw your.
We saw HO, which was I don't know. I didn't know test. My grade was bad. That's your consequence.
Yeah, no. I'm so serious.
You got like 4 H. Entitle them. So little secret. Did you put the formulas?
Yeah.
So that covers it. I didn't really tell people that because I wanted to like make. I figure if I tell you you need 2 things, you'll at least remember one of them. So it works. So you got.
I would take it. Would never say no to that.
Good thing
But you'd rather I told you like.
Actually,
It's not enough, right?
Yeah.
I think H is not here, otherwise
What?
it would be unit 6.
We are in unit 6 still, yeah. Yeah. So the thing is, now that we've done 6-1 and 6-2, we took so long on those. 6-5 will be like really fast. It's not going to be a great deal. It's just different formulas for standardization. So yeah, you'll need to know. And you get that formula. Whatever you want. So like most things are there anyway. I know it. Noah doesn't care, yeah. Noah thinks I don't care. Should we give the consequences?
Yes.
The first problem on the warm-up was HO, Mr. Davis doesn't care if I'm tardy. HA, Mr. Davis does care if I'm tardy. Give me a, what did I say, type 1 or type 2?
One processing test.
Yeah, do those in your calculator. He is too tardy. Even if you're excused, you're still tardy. Yeah, I don't really understand the point of that. confidence interval. That's like half the point I'm trying to make with this problem, and I forgot to tell you. So using alpha equals 0.05 and using 95% confidence interval. Yeah, thank you. Teaching me how to teach. For part A, yeah. Can you tell it's a not equal to sign for each? I'd rather you did it. I think it's more valuable. I mean, because you're not going to have to do both. I think it's more valuable for you to try it. I don't know. You actually go back and look at things you write down. Right, so just do it. I'll have your tests with the free response and all that by today. Hopefully. Jason, if you remind me, because I didn't grade your multiple choice yet. I'll do it after the notes. Alright, fair enough. Beautiful. Oh, you brought it. Or to watch. Bowling or wrestling or dentist. And then he's going to one of those. Am I good to go, or are you guys still looking at it? Oh, wait. Good stuff? Who's cooking it? Lara Croft.
Yeah, it's fine.
Is it Rod?
I think too far away.
Rod.
Yeah, it's
After the AB test, we're gonna get this back.
So I don't think crack was.
He's never done it. I can see.
What's his name?
You sure?
No, not Packard. Crack.
Alright.
I'm really tired. Then I'm gonna come back. Yeah, he's got his kid. I agree with you this year on it. He's cooking. He's one of the best in his team.
I don't think we know. Is he editor? Is he editor?
We're actually gaining like 6 people, 6 or 7. Yeah.
Coaches?
We're getting like half the baseball team.
Well, they put quick.
No, has it baseball or
Oh, right.
So like we're getting Larry, Zach, and Aiden.
Okay. Quiet, please. So, the point I'm trying to make is if you have a two-sided test, which that is, right? Two-sided meaning like greater than or less than. Hold on, this is really putting a damper on the point I'm trying to make. Oh, God. Where we are, but I was off in the middle. I've started. You guys have some smart boards? Elementary?
We use them way more.
Really? Okay. So the point I'm trying to make is if I have a two-sided test, which that is, you can use a test, like you can make a decision two ways. You can use a test, like we would typically do. If it's two-sided, you can also use a confidence interval. But we've kind of talked about both of these, so I don't think this is anything like crazy new. So let's go through it and see. But don't look at it and be like, wait, I kind of already knew this. What are you trying to show me? Because that might be the case. If I do part A, I got a p-value of 0.00389. So what would I do with HO? I would reject it because that is lower than 0.05. In part B, if I do a 1 prop Z interval, 95%, I get 0.637 to 0.764. The claim was 0.6. This interval does not contain 0.6. So what would I do with the original claim? I would reject it. That's the lesson. That's like the whole thing I'm trying to teach you. If you have a two-sided test, you could do it two ways. You can run the p-value, like just do the normal test, but you could also do a confidence interval. So for a not equal to test, we're looking at like the p-values like these areas. For a confidence interval, it's just like the other part of it. The key is these two things. Kind of weird to say it this way, but they have to add up to 1. It's like this is really 0.95, right? And then 0.05. So if you rejected at a 0.01 alpha, you also rejected at what confidence level? 99%. So if you rejected at like a 6% alpha, it'd be a 94% confidence. So they just like add up to 1 or 100, whichever way you want to say it. Yeah, that's it. So I got another one for you. Number 4. So note here, it only works for two-sided. Because the other ones aren't symmetric. Your confidence interval is symmetric both ways. A two-sided test is symmetric. For a one-sided, it's not symmetric, so you can't do this method for a one-sided. But you can for a two-sided. And sometimes they have ways of making you like you do have a choice usually, but sometimes you have to know. They'll give you a p-value. They'll set it up so you don't really have a choice. Usually you have a choice, but they can set it up so you have to know. Oh, I did the same problem, didn't I? Does anybody have the p-value yet? What is it? It was the exact same as the last one? Are you serious? Yeah, they are. I did not realize that. Let's say alpha's 0.01 And so what confidence level? That'd be 99%. So I think you get the same numbers and the same conclusions. I mean, they're the same number twice, but here we are.
Could have just changed it. Tell us the ranks at like 109.
Feedback already started. Yeah, half they're both 10% away from 50%, and then I made the p hat like 10% away from that, just in the other direction.
I didn't know that you could.
Well, I mean, it's just like your
It really,
HA is, it just makes the top negative, and you still have 0.4.
no, I was trying to look what you were saying. Doesn't matter. Is it? So I got the same p value for the test, which means what are we doing with HO? What are we doing with HO? We are rejecting it. And then you just said HO. I said, what do you do with HO? And you're like, HO. And then for the second part, I get 0.21 and then 0.38. So I would reject because 0.4 is not that in that interval. So like these are reasonable values. 0.4 is not in there, so I can reject. And those should be the same decision because these two are like complements of each other. If you want to look at it that way, like they add to 1, add to 100, however you want to say that. That's it. I'm just trying to show you that you can kind of use either to make a decision. Go to your homework 4. And I just want to talk about one thing. On homework 4, if you look at the Netflix problem on the back. So number 3, we do not know how to do part C and D, and we are not going to do that. If you're, so I'm just telling you, like, if you're interested, that is a topic on the AP test. The power is a topic. That can be like you can go crazy deep into it. I've spent 3-4 days on the topic before to get to like there may be one question on the AP test about it, and even after the 3 or 4 days, people still like didn't fully understand it. So I just skipped it. So if that's something you want to look into, like learn how to do power, it's not a huge deal. It might be one question on the test. It's not 40. But this is just one of those things that the juice is worth the sweet. So you can skip C and D. I'm just letting you know if you want to like look on your own what power is. If you want to, it won't be on your test. It could be on the AP test, but it's not going to be part of it at all. I hate to say like you're not going to learn this, but this is one of those things we're not going to do. Because our time is better spent doing other things